It's easy to fall for potential in someone because they got a look, they got a personality, or maybe they checked off a few of those boxes you've been looking for. But I ain't gonna hold you. Potential can leave you stuck in a relationship longer than it should. Everything feels great in the beginning. And then that spark starts to fade. And suddenly, you're just left waiting for a version of someone that may never show up. It's a hard pill to swallow. Welcome back to Raw Over Romance. I'm your host, O. And here, we keep it real about dating. Tonight, we're going to talk about something that everybody goes through, but no one ever points out. And that's falling in love with potential. And even as friends, we don't call each other out either. Instead, we'll say things like, just give it time. They'll change. Or it'll get better. It's my go-to. It'll get better. And sometimes we're just helping each other fall in love with a version of someone that doesn't even exist. And that's when the potential that you saw in the beginning starts to feel like a guarantee. You know, your friends start saying, bro, she a keeper. Hey, yo, don't let that go. Don't let shorty go. Or the team so-and-so's. You feel me? They were down with that person. They want that person so bad to succeed. Because we team so-and-so. But we're all rooting for potential too. Some people, they're great at making first impressions. But eventually, you stop meeting their potential and start meeting who they really are. That's why first impressions, yeah, they're cool and all. But I'm more interested in the lasting impression. Yeah, I know. You're thinking the lasting impression? Yeah. Because that mask, it's going to come off. And that's when you find out whether they are who they said they were or who they actually are. Because the truth is, some of us, we could spot bullshit quick, while others, it may take a little longer. Because we're still holding on to the person that we met in the beginning. And the funny part is, that version of them may not even exist anymore. Like, never existed in the first place. Let that sink in. You know, they probably mirrored your personality, did things you liked, said everything you wanted to hear until they couldn't keep it up anymore. Then there's the ones who have such a great personality had you laughing, smiling, thinking, yeah, this is my person right here. Then a few weeks go by, they turn out to be a dud. Trust me, looking back, I've seen the red flags, but convinced myself they weren't that serious. So I got comfy, like kicked my feet up comfy, because I wasn't falling in love with who she was. I was falling in love with who I envisioned she would be, ignoring not just the red flags, but the baggage I promised myself I would never deal with. Meanwhile, I was painting this picture in my own head of what life with her could be. And at that time, it was everything I ever wanted. The crazy part is, none of it felt wrong. At least, not in the moment. Because when you focus on potential, you stop asking, is this relationship healthy? Instead, you convince yourself you just need more time. Things are going to get better. You're probably expecting too much. And before you know it, you're no longer making decisions based on reality. You're making decisions based on hope. And hope, it could be an amazing thing. But when it's keeping you in a relationship that reality has already answered, is it? I mean, it's when it hit me. I wasn't waiting for her to become a better partner. I was waiting for a version of her that only existed in my head. And once I realized that, I stopped trying to fix the relationship, because the relationship was never the problem. My expectations were. I expected potential to eventually become reality. And when it didn't, I kept waiting, convincing myself we just need more time. That this would eventually fall into place. That, this is just a rough patch. And it wasn't. And that was probably the hardest part to accept. Because nobody likes admitting you were wrong about somebody. Especially when you invested time, energy, and your heart. But you know what? I'm actually glad that it happened. Not because it didn't hurt. Shit. It dead ass did. But it definitely changed the way I date. These days, potential, it doesn't impress me. I'm more impressed by consistency. Not excuses for promises that you can't keep. Those are for the birds. It definitely doesn't need me to imagine a future that isn't already showing itself. It wasn't a lesson that I wanted. It was a lesson that I needed. What I've learned is if I gotta keep convincing myself that somebody will eventually become the person I'm hoping for, then they're probably not my person. And that's okay. Because I'd rather accept the truth today than spend years chasing a possibility that was never promised. And I don't need you to become somebody different. I just need you to consistently be the person you introduced me to. Because if I have to keep believing in who you might become, then I'm no longer dating you. I'm dating my imagination of you. And that's a relationship that nobody wins. And just like that, I'm your host, O. And this is Raw Over Romance, where we keep it real about dating. And if this episode hit home, then you already know what to do. Until next time.
I've been keeping it raw over romance. Real conversation over slow dance. Ain't with the fake, I don't hold hands. If it ain't authentic, I don't do the scams. You gonna front, I don't play them games. I seen true love turn into flames. Just keeping it real, I don't need the fame. Raw over romance, it's not a game.